Welcome to Tasting with Matt and Mike. This is a day where we're going to be doing some Michter's Rye. I'm Mike Veach, and this is, of course, Matt Kohorst, my partner in crime.
Howdy.
We're going to be looking at just the normal Michter's Rye, and then we're going to look at the toasted rye, toasted barrel rye finished, and then we're going to look at the 10-year-old rye. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be the straight rye. This is a 84.8 proof rye whiskey. I happen to know that Michter's won't tell you exactly what their mash bills are, but I have been told that they will admit to the fact that this is a barely legal rye. In other words, it's probably 55-60% rye with a lot of corn and malted barley.
Okay. This one you can probably get for what, $40, $50?
Yeah, about 40, I would think.
40. Okay.
In the $40 range. That's one dead soldier. So, you know, Michter's heats their warehouses, and they won't tell you exactly how they age, because they don't age to a age statement per se. They age to what they consider maturity. So they look at every barrel and decide whether it's mature enough or not. So, you know, I would say this is probably a mixture of anywhere from 4 to 7-year-old barrels.
Looks great. It's got a great color.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a little bit of that amber tinge. It's, you know, it's not a deep red amber, but it's got a little bit of it. You know, and then you know that you get that ryegrass, but you also get that sweet corn.
Sweet corn.
Lots of caramel.
Lots of caramel.
A little bit of a baking spice. Sweet spices, not necessarily peppery spices.
Really good nose.
Yeah, great nose. Of course, there's a little oak here and there. Yeah, that's when you heat these warehouses, you get a lot of oak, you know, even at younger ages, because you're creating those, what they call cycles, you know, forcing the, heating the whiskey, making it go into the wood, and then turning off the heat and letting it condense and come out of the wood, bringing those wood flavors with it during the winter, as well as the summer. So let's taste it.
Ryegrass. You get a hint of like sour apple.
Sour apple. I could see the sour apple, but I could see maybe just a hint of like lemon zest too.
Yeah.
And then I get definitely some like allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg spices, a little bit of oak. Just it's a pleasant rye.
It really is. I mean, it's some of the best you'll ever have, especially in the price range, you know? Like,
right.
I mean, this is just really, really good stuff.
So, let's try it with a cranberry and see how that changes it. Not as much sour apple,
Gets that
but more of that cinnamon, nutmeg,
kind of brown sugary kind of.
brown sugar,
Yeah.
a little more oak, I think.
A little more oak. The finish is a little stronger, I would say. Spicier. But yeah, like a sweet spice, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the oak's definitely like sitting right back there. Just really nice, really smooth.
Just a great little sip of whiskey there with the. So let's see what a pecan does here for it. brought that apple back.
It really brings the apple back.
Yeah, even onto the finish.
Mm-hmm. You're getting the apple. You're getting a little bit of caramel. Shortened the finish a little bit. You know, it kind of like muted the oak a little bit for me.
Yeah, but it brings out a little bit of a different spice. I'm thinking like maybe ginger.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm even getting like little bits of chocolate.
Yeah.
In the finish.
Yeah. Dark chocolate, not a sweet milk chocolate, but a darker.
Mm-hmm. Overall, really good.
Yeah.
Pairs well with both of these. Very.
Yeah, you know, and it makes a great Manhattan.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, it's just a very versatile rye. You could use it for a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one we have here is the Toasted Barrel Finish Rye Whiskey. It's a barrel-proof product, and it's 108.6.
Okay, so this one was 86. Was that right?
Yeah, 84.8, I believe.
Yes. Okay, so this one's jumping
Yeah.
up on the it's
You
barrel
know,
strength, you know.
And that 108.6 barrel proof just shows that one of the things that Michter's does that's different is that low barrel entry proof, 105 barrel entry proof. So even after you know, heating warehouses and everything, which drives proof up, I doubt if Michter's ever has a barrel that loses proof.
Mm.
I mean, the proof is still only 108.6.
Yeah.
So this is going to have a lot of barrel flavor, but it's going to have a lot more of the sweet caramel, vanilla type flavors too, because of that low barrel entry proof.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, the barrel finish, that toasted barrel finish, what they're going for is extra caramel, butterscotch notes that you get from those toasted barrels days.
Now, how much does this one go for?
This one, when they come out with it, I think the suggested retail price is about $80.
$80. So we're looking about it.
But if you can find it, you know, more
Right.
likely you're going to find it on the secondary market, and it's going to cost you a couple hundred.
Mm. All right.
Yeah, you definitely get more of that caramel butterscotch.
Yeah. Stronger.
Mm,
It's a heavy. Get some rye.
get some rye, yeah. A little oak, a little bit of spice, but not a whole lot of spice. It's really more brown sugar, caramel, butterscotch forward
Mm-hmm.
than anything. So let's taste it.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of
A
butterscotch.
lot of butterscotch, a lot of caramel.
A little bit of baking spices, that little cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of that apple still comes through.
Yeah. Right.
But to me, it's more of a ripe apple than a green tart.
yeah, it's kind of like the citrus. You don't get much citrus.
No, you don't get hardly any
There's no
citrus
tart
at all
note
in
to it.
this.
Yeah.
But you get that oak, particularly on the finish. You're getting like lingering brown sugar,
Mhm.
oak, and a little bit of that cinnamon spice to me.
Yeah, it almost turns into like a conglomeration of different spices, you know, dancing
Yeah.
around. Nutmeg. I guess maybe that would be an allspice kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's getting a lot of spice on it. Tasty. Lots of cinnamon. Oh, very good. Very good.
Yeah. So let's see what a cranberry does. It's interesting. That kind of brought the apple out.
It did. Mm-hmm.
Whereas the cranberry on the regular rye kind of muted the apple.
Right. Yeah, so you're getting that, that apple, and not as much like as a ripe, well, more like a ripe than a sour.
Right.
Still getting that cinnamon. The finish to me is very spicy.
Spicy and that apple is kind of lingering too.
Yeah, so you get kind of that fruitiness and the spice at the finish, and it was it the Kentucky hug? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Like you can feel it with this one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're talking 108 proof too,
Yeah.
so
you're getting a lot of flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really good stuff.
See, and one of the things I like about Michter's too is that, you know, when Willie Pratt was alive and still doing the bottling for him and everything, he was an expert at filtration.
Mm-hmm.
He had a passion for it. He looked at about 50 different types of filtration and everything, and he picks what the best filtration is for each one of them. And they've done a great job of removing the bitter elements of the oak, I think, in this. Because I really, you don't, in either one of these, I've tasted any of that bitter oak.
That tannic.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, it's all like a specific flavor, and it doesn't overpower. You know.
Right.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear our throat, try it for
It's like all I can think of is I get hit with a lot of vanilla on this one.
Yeah.
And like the definition of like a toasted barrel, like it feels like a nice toasted like nut, you know, like.
You know what I'm getting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a lot of a maple pecan ice cream type flavor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That maple really does come through.
Yeah, you know,
So,
and I think the pecan kind of brings out that, and of course
Mm-hmm.
the pecan flavor is lingering, so I get that maple and that pecan, but like you said, a lot of that vanilla
Mm-hmm.
creaminess.
Man, that's a really tasty pairing there.
Right.
Yeah. We used to go to a nature center when I was a kid, and they used to make their own maple syrup.
Yeah.
So, you know, once you said that, like, it brought me right back there to, like, you can smell it being made. It's just, yeah. That's delicious.
You know, that's so good. I'm going to have another pecan.
I think so, yeah.
And it's even better the second time.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know, you don't get as much spice in the flavor when you taste it,
Mm-hmm.
but the spice then comes out in the finish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just really nice. I could drink that all day.
Yeah. Just have a bowl of pecans and toasted rye, and it's gonna be a good day.
So the last one we have here is the 10-year-old rye whiskey from Michter's. This is a 92.8 proof.
Okay.
It's 10 years old on the age statement, and it is a single barrel.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you this, like I said, they age to flavor, maturity, not necessarily to age. So this may say 10-year-old on the label.
Mm-hmm.
But this barrel might actually be 11 or 12.
Gotcha.
All it says is that the youngest whiskey is 10 years old, at least. So, I mean, this single barrel could be, 11, 12, maybe even 13, 14.
Okay. Interesting. What about a price tag on this one?
Oh, you're looking in the $120, $150 range. Retail.
Mm-hmm.
On the secondary market, you're definitely looking at a couple hundred, $300-400 maybe.
Yeah, some say so far, like, these price ranges are correct. You know, like, you get the $40 rye, definitely worth it. You know, I mean, it competes with ryes that are like twice the price,
Right.
you know? And then the toasted barrel finish one, I mean, yeah, $80, that's very reasonable, you know?
For that
what
good
you're
of
getting.
a whiskey, yeah.
Yeah. These are just like kind of in a league of their own a little bit for me, because I really think Michter's just they're doing something right over there. I don't know what it is, but like, there's never a bad one, you know?
No, there's never a bad product out of Michter's.
Yeah.
So let's nose this. Much more oak forward.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, that's the first thing I get is oak. But it's not a bitter oak. Like I said, it's more like a
Sweet vanilla-y kind of.
or the oak itself is more like you're working on in your workshop and sawing oak logs or sawing oak boards.
Mm-hmm.
You get that aroma of fresh cut wood.
Yeah.
Then you get that caramel, brown sugar. I'm not even sure it's vanilla so much. I think it's already moved completely into the caramel brown sugar range. And you're getting some chocolate on the nose. This is the first one you really get the chocolate, or at least I get the chocolate. And there's a little fruitiness to it, but it's more of a
dark fruit of some.
Yeah,
like a plum or something.
Plum or ripe apricot. It's a pitted fruit, I would call it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So let's taste it. Oh wow!
It's chocolatey.
Yeah, chocolatey, and you get that kind of a date.
Mm-hmm.
Dried fruit.
Yeah. It's chewy, like, yeah.
And you get a little bit of some spices, but it's not as spicy as the other two.
It's not. It's more mellow than that.
But there's a hint of that baking spices in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get that oak, but like I said, it's not bitter oak at all.
No, it's extremely well balanced.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of flavors, but they're not. None of them overpower each other.
Right. This is just. That's a very pleasant drink of whiskey.
An exceptional drink of whiskey.
Yeah.
And you get like a hint of rye, but you could almost not even call it a rye, because like, like you're getting. I get more of like just the brown sugars and like the barrel.
I get that rye though, but it's towards the end of the taste and into the finish. You get a little bit of that kind of a rye grass earthiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would not have any problem determining this as a rye versus a 10-year-old bourbon.
Yeah.
But, there's still enough rye characteristic in there that it's not dominated by that barrel.
Mm-hmm. Right, which I think is a good thing.
Right.
Because you're getting a complexity, and it's not all that earthy grassiness that you get with, a lot of those higher ryes.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's try a cranberry.
Well, see, for me, that brought out the rye more.
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah.
And amazingly, it kind of even pushes the fruit further back.
It does, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like ryegrass and caramel.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit more spice.
Mm-hmm.
You get some fruit, but it's on the finish.
Right. And it's a citrusy, more of an orange citrus, like tangerine-y
right.
kind of.
And chocolate. You think of these, box of chocolates where you get the orange chocolate with the real dark chocolate covering, the orange nugget with the...
Yeah.
You take a bite out of it, you kind of get that type of...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that desserty. Yeah, it's very good.
It's nice. Let's cleanse our palate and try it with time. there's your citrus.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that orange citrus, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of spices, oak.
Yeah, the oak shining through in the finish on this one. But yeah, it is still like that high citrusy orange.
Mm-hmm. This would be a very good whiskey to pair with a dark Maduro cigar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That little bit of a tobacco, chocolatey flavor of the smoke with this would just go really well. But yeah.
Overall, I think these three products, I mean, man, they are just exceptional rise. If you see them in your market, pick them up.
Right.
You'll enjoy it.
It's great whiskeys.
Yeah.
So, cheers.
Cheers.